Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Gagan Thakur. So in this video, we are going to learn about SubDialog Invoke. Okay. So as you know that at the beginning of the call, we use CVP SubDialog Start. Now, you might have this question that Gagan, what is the difference between CVP SubDialog Start and SubDialog? Yeah. So see, if you see here, we have, I'll show you, give me a minute. Okay. So there is something called SubDialog Start and there is something called CVP SubDialog Start. Okay. So if ICM is calling the application, okay, if ICM is calling your application, if you are using SubDialog Start, it will fail. So for ICM to pass the values to this application, okay, you need to use CVP SubDialog Start. But if you know that your application is going to get called only by another application, then you can go with SubDialog Start. But just remember, the best practice is always to use CVP SubDialog Start, not SubDialog Start. I hope it makes sense. Okay. Now, so you know that this is used after start of the call, and this is used once we return back. Okay, so this is something you already know. We have not used that, we have used hang up, but we can also use CVP SubDialog return. Now I just want to show you this one, which is SubDialog Invoke. How do we invoke the SubDialog? So I have integrated that in the same call flow of the new customer. So when you press 1 and you go to the new customer and new customer SF, in the new customer SF we offer them two offers, offer 1 PP and offer 2. So if they press offer 2, I'm going to SubDialog Invoke, and in the SubDialog Invoke, we will call an external SubDialog, external application. Okay, and then we will call subflow return. So what I have done is I have simply written a VXML. Okay, so this VXML somehow I had to use 2.0, although I wanted to use 2.1, but when I use 2.1 I'm getting some compatibility issues. I don't know why. I'm still looking into that, but for the sake of this example, let's go ahead with 2.0. Okay, so this is another XML, this is another VXML, which is placed outside of the application. Okay, so I'm going to call this as a subdialog, and I'm also going to pass first name here, and then I'm going to return result. Okay, by the way, when I'm checking, somehow I am this application is not receiving first name and result. Maybe something is wrong with the VXML, but I don't want to spend much time here. Okay, but it's not failing at least. Okay, so let me show you what I have done. So this is a VXML, it is running on a server. So if I show you, this is the VXML which is running. Okay, so this is the path of the XML or VXML. Okay, so it is running on this server. Okay, now, so if I go back here, you will see that in the SubDialog Invoke you will find multiple parameters. So let me explain them one by one. There's something called SubDialog URI. Okay, so this is where you need to specify the URI of your VXML application where you are running it. Okay, it could be a plain VXML application, it could be another Cisco application, whatever it is. Okay, now you can also give the fully qualified path, or you can give the relative path. If it can, the only objective is the voice browser should be able to find that path. Now in the second property is local application. Now if your application is running in the same server as of your Cisco application, then you can make it true. Okay, otherwise it should be false, because my VXML is running on another server. I have given it as false. And now if you want to pass any parameters to this subdialog, okay, you can pass it like this. So first name and the value. So you need to specify the value, and equals to, and like the name and value. So name equals to value, something like that. Okay, I can also hard code this, but I am using session because I wanted to explain how session works, and then I am expecting that it will return me result. Okay, now, so if you look at the VXML again, okay, so you'll see that this is the name variable and this is the result variable. I have hard coded the result to success. So what I expect that when we call this VXML, where it should return me success. Okay, and I am playing this hi first name. I'm using ECMAScript. Okay, JavaScript, you can say. So hi first name, which would be like, in this case, if I pass Gagan, so it would be hi Gagan. As you chosen offer 2, you have reached inside a hello world VXML app. I will play this and I will return result, which would be success. Okay, now let's talk about the data. Okay, so here there are multiple data, but out of which we mostly use element data and session data. There is application data also, global data also, but mostly we use session and element data. So why I did not hard code this, why I actually doing like this, because this gives me a liberty of modifying the value. So if I hard code this, so every time I need to specify another value, I had to change my application. But when I do this within the session, it is super easy for me to change the value. Now in Java it is also very easy. The front end is a bit difficult, but Java is super easy. We will also cover that in the later videos. Okay, so what I have done is, in this offer to pp, I have, there are two tabs, element. So there is this tab called data. Now there are two sections in that, element data and session data. I'm creating a session data. Okay, now so I just clicked here on the session data. Okay, and then I just gave the name, value, and you can specify before or after. So whether you want the data to be created before the application, this state element is called, or after the element is called. Okay, so it's that way. So I created f name, I specified Gagan there. I created result, I specified unknown. Okay, so I created two session variable. And how can you fetch that session variable? Super easy. You can simply say data dot session and the name of the session variable. That's how you fetch it. Okay, so now if I call this, so the call from this cvp, this Cisco application, should go to this vxml application. It should play this, and then because I'm using a return, so the call should come back to this, and the call should end gracefully. Okay, so let's see this. So I'll go to debug, and okay. And by the way, I did not explain this thing earlier, but in the here you can also see the variables you are setting throughout the application. Okay, so I will show you runtime. So let's not pay attention to this for now. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to place a call. Okay, uh okay, what's wrong? It's but the call is not coming somehow. So give me a minute. Let me shut it down and restart again. This has been happening with me, as you're aware of this, so not a problem. And I'll start it again. Okay, if this doesn't work, I need to restart Cisco. I don't know why it's happening, but anyways, restarting is working, so I'm just going with that way. Okay, okay, so it's starting. Give me a minute. There you go, but still the button is not enabled. So I will actually shut it down, and I will restart Cisco, and it should be working. Okay, so guys, it's please remember that session data and element data is something that you will be requiring, again and again. Okay, so that's why I wanted to show you how exactly this thing works. Okay, super important. And I already explained in my previous video that session data is something that is created by an element, but cannot be modified by other element. Sorry, element data is something that is created by that particular element, and no other element can modify the data. But session data is something which can be modified by any of the element in your application. So that's they both have their own advantages and disadvantages, so you use it according to your need. Okay, if you need any session particularly on the data, session data and element data, global data, application data, do let me know, and we can create another video. Okay, so okay, so now I'll say one. Okay, so we are going inside this new customer offer DM. Okay, now I want to go to 2 right here. So I'll say 2, and I'll go here, and now you can see that, now see, it played this high undefined, as you have chosen offer 2. It did not play my name, though I passed my name. Okay, and then the call is disconnected because the call came back. Now if you want to see whether the value got set or not, so simply uh, here, why don't we see the call and data? So okay, this is the, so you can see the value of the call and data, but I wanted to show you the value of the session data. Somehow it's not visible in this case. I don't know why. It should be. So I am actually passing the value, but somehow the VXML app that I created is not receiving that, and maybe something is wrong with that, but doesn't matter. Now let me show you the logs. Okay, just to clarify that the call actually went there. Okay, so I will show you the activity log, and in the activity log, this is the recent 10058. Okay, and if I show you here, you can see that the call actually went from if you see here, we pressed 2, okay, offer pp2, it went here. Then from here it went to SubDialog Invoke, okay. Then from the SubDialog Invoke it returned, okay, and then the call got disconnected, normally no error. So we were able to call an external application by calling it as a SubDialog. So I hope it was helpful. If you have any question, you can just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer them. Thank you so much.